why don't you just add a few more complexities and then talk to the advertisers and say, why don't you spend a few $1,000s on mobile to try it out? It's really fun. I think the iPhone shows a very simple need. It's a desperate need for more simplicity. It is so unbelievably user-unfriendly what's happening on this device. It's amazing. When somebody tells you, can you please build it that it looks like online? I'm really amazed by the fact that this is a medium used by 245 million consumers in the United States out of a population of 300 million, and is thereby the most used device, or at least much more used than the PC. And yet we're trying to imitate the online world. What are we doing? So that's the first question I have. The second question is, how are we expecting anyone to take this seriously as an advertising device if we keep telling them about the unbelievable complexity that arises out of the fact that we have 20 carriers in the US, we don't have 3, we have 20, and that we have 2 fundamental basic technologies, GSM and CDMA, and that we have 2 downloadable standards, BRU and J2ME. And by the way, J2ME also has different versions, and there's a new one coming out that maybe allows one day, potentially, maybe we will have flashlight on it, but that's not coming yet, but it's rolled out across a few handsets this year, but maybe next year. And then we have mobile TV on some handsets, but you got to pay $15 for that. And then we've got VCAS, which is another $50 package for mobile video. Why don't you just add a few more complexities and then talk to the advertisers and say, why don't you spend a few $1,000s on mobile to try it out? It's really fun.
Don't forget one important thing, and that's the fact that the consumers of all this stuff, they don't know about any of that stuff, and frankly could care less.
And they should care less, and that's the point. And
they
that's
want their
the reason,
device to work.
That's
and if their
the
device
reason
works,
why somebody
we're good to
from the beloved Silicon Valley can come in and say, I'm gonna start a new phone. It's called the iPhone, and I will have hundreds of people lined up in front of my store, and it's version 1.0. And I compete against companies that have been in this market for 15 years, creating handsets. And yet I have hundreds of people waiting in front of my store who want to buy my first 1.0 version of my very first phone I ever bring into the market. Now, isn't that amazing? And the only reason that is possible is because it is simply far too complex. So let's make it simpler. Let's talk about usability. Let's not talk about the next 15 menu items on here. And let's not try to copy a medium like the online world that is used in a lean-forward mode where I want to drill down, click, community, link up with people, have more menu items, more choices. And I want those choices on Facebook. Do I want them on my cell phone? Do you really want to go down 15 menu items until you find another option of another 10 choices? Probably not, because your lunch break is over by that time. So we gotta see this as a very different medium, and if we are able to do that, and it's already coming, it's not the next year thing, it's already happening. Look at services such as, for example, Crush or Flush, right? It's a simple service that allows you to say whether you like someone or not. It is really fun to use, and it's just one button. And it has millions of users. And it's only 2 years old. So that's what happens when you understand what mobile is about. Another one is location-based. This device is the only one that knows where you are at all times. That's mobile. So unless we understand what this medium is about, we can't expect for advertisers to spend millions of dollars on us. So we can, of course, keep spending amongst ourselves, and I like that too, don't get me wrong. But if we want to get the Fords, the GMs, the Chryslers, the McDonald'ses, the Adidas, the L'Oreals, then we really have to think on a different scale and simplify it, provide measurement, and then prove to them the click-through rates, by the way, and you're totally right, are about 10 times what you get on online today.